the US has offered 30 days of Russian oil waiver to India. The move is aimed at easing pressure on global oil markets amidst heightened geopolitical tension and supply disruptions triggered by the ongoing US-Iran war. All of this comes after the White House says it is preparing contingency plans to keep the Strait of Hormuz open. Remember, strikes and tanker attacks near the Strait of Hormuz have triggered a shipping gridlock. Meanwhile, Modi government remains unfazed. The government sources say India's energy position remains comfortable. But the disruption is already visible on the water. Over 200 ships are struck inside the Persian Gulf, 150 are waiting outside the strait, and 38 Indian vessels are caught in the region. As the world watches, the Hormuz checkpoint becomes the latest front in West Asia war.
Commit to a timeline, but certainly it's something that is being calculated actively by both the Department of War and the Department of Energy. They're working very closely. Both secretaries are in all of the briefings on this subject with the president, and this is, again, something they're monitoring. And if and when necessary, the United States Navy will provide assistance to escort oil tankers through the strait.
We are very excited about the trade deal that is almost at the finish line now. And think that can be the basis for really unlocking almost limitless potential. And so we are very much excited on focusing with India on these economic and commercial opportunities. And so, but again, India should understand that we're not going to make the same mistakes with India that we made with China 20 years ago in terms of saying, oh, we're gonna let you, be able to develop all these markets, and then the next thing we know, you're beating us in a lot of commercial things. We're going to make sure that whatever we do, it's fair to our people, because ultimately we have to be accountable to our own people, just as the government of India has to be accountable to its people.
I think that the more countries try to work together to ensure the continued freedom of navigation, the better. And this is where I think countries that might not want to get involved in any attack on Iran could serve a very useful purpose by trying to ensure that there is no Iranian interference with freedom of navigation.
Finally, has India now sought more oil from Russia because of the Strait of Hormuz, Bab el-Mandeb, the strains that we are seeing? Is Russia now going to be the main oil provider in this conflict?
This is up to India to decide. We have always maintained that we have always been ready to offer oil supplies to India, provided India needs those supplies. That's the decision the Indian government should take.
All right, let's take our viewers through on how things are panning out globally, where global crude oil, the movement of that is concerned. 20% of the global oil passes through the Strait of Hormuz. 200+ ships are stuck in the Persian Gulf. 150 ships are waiting outside the Strait of Hormuz. 38 Indian ships stuck in the region. Well, this is how it looks like, where in terms of the total the total oil which is consumed globally, 20% of that passes through the Strait of Hormuz. Having said that, there are many countries like India as well and China who rely for most of their needs on the Strait of Hormuz. Now, Russian oil also fuels India vessels at Strait of Hormuz, around 300 oil tankers, Russian vessels in the Arabian Sea, at least 8. Happening now, 2 Russian crude shipments en route to India. 1.4 million barrel crude oil are en route to India to deliver oil to India. So, where it comes down to, where the immediate crisis is concerned, it is averted as far as India comes into question.